September 2008, the La Mesa State Penitentiary in Tijuana, Mexico. On this night, it's the most violent place in one of the world's most dangerous cities. Prisoners are rioting to protest inhumane conditions and the killing of an inmate. There are 8,100 inmates here in a prison built to hold half that many. When the smoke clears, 23 inmates will have lost their lives. Distraught families get their most reliable information from someone who knows La Mesa from the inside out.
Es como una zona de guerra.
Because she lives here. Her name is Mother Antonia, and the prison has been her address since 1978. La Mesa was a very different place then, not at all like an American prison. There was a central yard where you might see a baseball game in progress. You could buy a taco or get your shoes shined. It was nicknamed El Pueblito, the little town. And if you had money, you could live in a comfortable room or caraca.
Some of the mafia guys who had a lot of money had very nice second-story kind of condos. I walked in, and Mother had to tell the guy, you know, he's with me, he's religious, and clear it, because he had 3 armed guards of his own.
Welcome.
Mother Antonia has had her own caraca at La Mesa, a tiny apartment little changed in more than 30 years. It's not the sort of place you'd expect to find a woman who started life in Beverly Hills. She was born Mary Clark, December 1st, 1926, the daughter of Irish immigrants. She was a blue-eyed beauty who grew up in a mansion. Her neighbors were Hollywood celebrities. She married twice and raised 7 children, but both marriages ended in divorce. Those were 2 strikes which, under normal circumstances, would have kept her from becoming a nun.
It probably has contributed a great deal to my vocation, because it has allowed me to know what failure is, what disgrace is, what joy is, what pain is, what losing is, what winning is.
Through the years, Mary felt a calling to help others, a quest that brought her to Tijuana and La Mesa Penitentiary.
I got here because God's grace brought me here, and a calling inside of me, a longing to serve God in the person and the presence of those rejected by the world. And so Tijuana was a perfect place for me to come, and I've loved it ever since.
Maria Diaz has made trips to the prison with Mother Antonia since the beginning.
We saw how Mother Antonia began to learn the language and the way of life in Mexico, our police, our judges, and how they could be bought, how with money things could be arranged. She began to pay the bail for the prisoners who were good people, who needed help. And the women prisoners, she really protected them.
The doors opened for me here that probably wouldn't have opened for me in the United States, because I don't think San Quentin would really allow me to come in. But I don't know, I didn't go to San Quentin to ask, but I don't think so, much less to live there.
Because she was too old to be accepted by a traditional order, then Sister Antonia received special dispensations from the Catholic bishops of San Diego and Tijuana to carry out her work inside prison walls.
She's responsible for really reorganizing the prison. And it's one person is unbelievable. And if she was not there, then this would not happen.
From her first days coming to the prison, inmates have counted on her to be their link to the outside world. She is besieged with requests for legal, financial, and spiritual help.
There's so many wonderful things she does for the prison. She's our hope.
There used to be a practice for new prisoners known as El Grito, or the Yell, an unofficial initiation of sorts.
All the guards would stand on parallel lines, and they would have all the kids would have to come up, and they'd have to yell their name, what their crime was, and what their alias was. But if they didn't yell it loud enough, they would have to run through the guards, and the guards would kick them. You know, they would beat them, and then they would beat them on the way back. and Mother Antonia came down with a firm foot, and she made that known. She even took it to the point where she would walk in with the people when they were about to say their name and their aliases, just to make sure that nothing would happen to them. So this talks about having a mom on your side, and she was there.
Mother Antonia eventually convinced prison staff to stop the brutal tradition. The grito is now a thing of the past, thanks to her influence.
It made all the difference, her being there, and you'd get nervous and look over and she'd be just beaming at you. So that was my first experience of prison.
Bridget, not her real name, spent 15 months inside La Mesa with her fiancé after the two were arrested for drug smuggling. Bridget became Mother Antonia's secretary. Her son would be born inside the prison.
She's my son's godmother. She was there at his birth, which was actually in the prison, so that was a pretty special bond too. She is the most amazing person I've ever met in my whole life, and I feel really blessed.
But La Mesa, with or without Mother Antonia, can be a dangerous place. There's no longer a central yard, and inmates live in cell blocks. Even as the prison has been modernized, it's also increasingly overcrowded. Yet Mother Antonia's presence can't be discounted in helping to maintain some humanity inside La Mesa's walls. The warden and everyone else affectionately refer to her as La Mama.
For us, she is a blessing.
He helps me every day.
Her entrance into the prison yard and her unique brand of Spanish have always inspired smiles and greetings from the inmates.
We could be like in a fight, in the middle of a big fight, and she'll just come in and, boop, everybody stops. Let her pass, let her say whatever, you know?
Mother Antonia has encouraged programs that allow the inmates to learn new skills and educate themselves.
It's a blessing for everybody here. She gives a lot of hope, a lot of encouragement for the guys here that don't have any. She brings a positive element inside that we don't have much of.
Mother Antonia is credited with stopping more than one riot, walking right into the middle of the violence. The guards and inmates put down their weapons out of respect and love for her.
The men were all under things and came out and formed. They all were around me like a circle. I could barely walk. I had to shuffle one little foot in front of the other. I'd take them into the chapel and I'd pray with them. And I asked St. Michael the Archangel to come with a battalion of angels. And pretty soon they're saying, "Don't shoot, Mother's here."
But it was different in 2008. Mother Antonia was away from the prison when the fighting erupted. She believes severe overcrowding caused tensions to explode. Reluctantly, she admits it would have been too dangerous for her to try and intervene.
I've never seen such destruction in 31 years. Never have I seen. The combination of all the destruction I've seen was a drop in the bucket to what this was. This is where almost everything that we really wanted to do was burned down and destroyed. So we have to start from scratch.
Mother Antonia has never taken sides. She walks a delicate line between the guards, the police, and the inmates. She considers them all sus hijos, her sons.
Corruption exists on both sides of the border. And so she has to deal with what is, not what ought to be. And but she doesn't put up with injustice.
There has been corruption, we know that. But that isn't exclusively in Mexico.
La Mesa is no longer El Pueblito, the little town. In 2002, Mother Antonia watched as thousands of inmates were transferred to a new modern prison. The apartments or caracas of the privileged inmates were destroyed. The central yard would no longer be the site of taco stands and soccer games. Eventually, La Mesa would be filled with more traditional cell blocks. There are some bright spots to the La Mesa experience. Opportunities exist for rehabilitation and training here, preparing the inmates for their eventual release. Outside prison walls, Tijuana has become an increasingly violent place. With roughly 2 million people, it's Mexico's 6th largest and fastest growing city. Tijuana was once a favorite destination for Americans, an easy trip across the border from San Diego. Teenagers wanting to take advantage of Mexico's 18-year-old drinking age made it a popular party stop. It's also where would-be undocumented immigrants from Mexico and points south try to enter the U.S. Many succeed, but thousands more get stuck here, broke and alone, after they're deported back to Tijuana. The city is also in the midst of a brutal turf war between rival drug cartels. No one is safe. Innocent men, women, and even school children have been caught in the crossfire. Tourism has taken a big hit, as once busy Avenida Revolucion has become a ghost town. Foreign visitors are now a rarity, and street vendors spend endless hours without a single customer. But there is plenty of activity to keep police busy, and officers have been specially targeted, dying by the dozens. Through the years, Mother Antonia has developed close ties with Tijuana's police force. She considers the officers her sons, too. As their death toll skyrockets, Mother Antonia offers more to the men and women in uniform than just spiritual support.
When one of our officers dies, she's always there, the first one who comes to be with us.
At the Mother Antonia Child Care Center, the children of women police officers and staff get tender, loving care. It's part of a well-run support system that operates outside La Mesa prison. Volunteers that include several groups from Southern California raise money and collect donations for Tijuana prisoners and their families. Over the years, many have heard about Mother Antonia's work. A gala dinner held every fall in San Diego raises enough money to keep her programs going all year long. And some have wanted to join in her life's mission. In 2003, the Bishop of Tijuana formally recognized the religious community she founded, the Servants of the 11th Hour. Like Mother, they are all older women, many who've raised their own families.
The servant of the 11th hour means that we are not young. We are coming to give all the talents and gifts that God has given us at the 11th hour of our life.
There are many women out there that have ideals of what they would like to do, and it's not sit at home, but to go out and serve God and do for others, that give back.
After the Lord called me to follow Him, and I couldn't find an order that would take me at 65 years of age and with children, one of my middle daughters read of Mother Antonia in the Reader's Digest called Antonia's Mission. And she called me just really excited, said, "You need to go get the June issue because Mother, there's an article and it was written for you." She was so excited.
That Reader's Digest article about Mother Antonia got the attention of several women who eventually made their way to Tijuana. Sister Anne Marie had been an executive secretary in Michigan. She now handles Mother's correspondence and busy travel schedule.
Somebody will say, "Well, tell me what a typical day is." There's no such thing. And every single sister, including the ones at Casa Campos, will tell you that. There's no such thing as a typical day.
I wish to serve the poorest of my brothers and sisters. Amen. The Lord is calling us at a later age. It's like, I have something for you to do at each phase of your life. Our children are grown. We don't have to just sit around and knit and play bingo and watch soap operas. There's things that we can do to serve the Lord.
A potential sister must bring more than spiritual strength. All members of the order, most of whom are over 60, must have their own health insurance. Not all members of the order live in Tijuana. Sister Olivia drives back and forth to San Diego every day. Some of Mother's most loyal supporters don't join the order, but serve as associates. Joni Kennedy has worked by Mother's side for more than 30 years.
Her mission has never changed. It's always reaching out to everybody, no matter who it is. It used to be just the prisoner, but then the prisoner had a family, and then the family became involved, and everybody knows that Mother can help, or Mother will help. Mother will never turn you away. If she can't help herself, she'll send you to somebody who can help you.
Members of the order wear a distinctive cross made of nails to signify suffering in Christ's crucifixion. The Star of David represents the Old Testament and is a reminder of the Holocaust.
I ask perseverance to follow Christ with all my heart and to serve His people with humility.
There are about 20 sisters and 20 associates at any given time. Some live in Tijuana, others in their hometowns throughout the U.S. Sister Mari is one of the few Mexican members of the order and one of the youngest. She is also a single mom, thanks to the efforts of Mother Antonia, who helped her adopt her daughter, Luz Areli.
Mother continues to be responsible for her. Mother was looking out for the girl's future.
Luz tells her mother that when she grows up, she wants to be a nun too. The servants of the 11th hour are headquartered at Casa Campos de San Miguel, just a few blocks from La Mesa prison. It's a refuge for just released women prisoners, visiting family members, and poor women recovering from chemotherapy. There is one rule here: no one is ever turned away. The food given out at Casa Campos depends on loyal volunteers who collect donations on a regular basis.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Bernie Alvarez collects bread from San Diego supermarkets once a week. Other times he'll collect clothing or blankets. He also makes regular stops at St. Vincent de Paul, which has been sharing its donations with Mother Antonia for years. But the relationship didn't exactly start off on the right foot.
She was cleaning us out is really what started. They said this nun kept coming up and filling up cartfuls of stuff and having $2 or $3 in her pocket. And then, one time I spotted her from my office above, came running down to stop her. I was going to put an end to this thing because we needed stuff for ourselves. And as I approached her with all the people around, she falls on her knees and looks up with that innocent, joyful smile. Padre, your blessing. So this little old lady stops me in the middle of stopping her to give her a blessing. Meanwhile, they're carrying stuff out the door. She's a thief, and she's good at it.
He says that I'm a thief. He said when Mother Antonia comes, he says, lock everything up. He says, put the locks on. The sisters are here. The sisters are there. Lock the place up.
Father Joe Carroll is himself known as the hustler priest for his skill at wrangling donations for St. Vincent de Paul. In Mother Antonia, he's more than met his match, calling her one of a kind.
She really is the epitome of unconditional love. See, turning the other cheek means she thought about it. She didn't think about it. I met you, I love you, because God loves you. No matter what you've done in the past, it has nothing to do with the fact I love you today as you are.
Mother's network also includes doctors and nurses who provide free health care. Several times a year, Dr. Michael Gass performs eye exams and gives prescription glasses to patients who would otherwise do without. And at Tijuana's only AIDS clinic, the need is great, and so is the appreciation for volunteers who've come from across the border.
The satisfaction that I get from working here is unbelievable. This place has become the passion in my life. I really think it's a calling. I do believe. People ask me that. Why don't you just do things in San Diego? It'd be a lot easier. And I say, well, because God told me to go to Tijuana. And without Mother Antonia and without Noreen, I wouldn't be here.
Noreen is Noreen Wash Began, another associate of Servants of the 11th Hour. Over the past 3 decades, she has spent many a night on a cot beside Mother Antonia inside La Mesa prison. Along with her sister Joni, she has been indispensable to Mother's mission in Tijuana. She sees it the other way round.
I can't even imagine what my life would have been like had I not met Mother Antonia. I think of so many times, I'm going to say every day, if I'm in a situation and I don't know what to do, I would say, I want to know, how would Mother Antonia handle this situation?
Somebody asked her sister, how do you rehabilitate these hardcore killers? What do you say to them? And Mom said, I dropped to my knees and grabbed them and begged them never to kill again. And how straight can you be with somebody? And I think she has the ability to go one-on-one with these people and say, you are loved, no matter what they're crying.
Mother Antonia doesn't minimize the crimes that have brought people to La Mesa, nor does she distinguish between a murderer, a rapist, or a thief.
When I look at them and I see them handcuffed coming into prison, and I smile at them, and I touch, and I say, there's nothing you have done in this world that's beyond the forgiveness and the love of God.
I think that the most important thing we have from her is her company. For every person who doesn't have their mother right now, their biological mother, we still have a mother who we see day after day, and she gives us the love that we are missing.
I'm very happy here. I look up to see the guards on the wall, and I know my sons are very close to me, and that the Lord is too.
Mother Antonia has never been afraid to live inside the prison.
I'm not afraid of guns. I'm afraid of people, of words. I'm afraid that I think that words that offend, words that curse others, when gossip and such things, and judgments, that they do more harm than bullets do. Because a person's shot and they can be healed, but a person's wounded in their dignity, sometimes they go a lifetime without being healed. So that's what I'm there for.
Her comforts inside La Mesa are few, not even hot water. She keeps in touch with the outside world with 2 cell phones, one for Tijuana and one for San Diego. Her work has made her famous throughout Mexico, recognized by presidents and even Pope John Paul II in 1990. She has received numerous awards on both sides of the border.
From La Mesa Penitentiary in Tijuana, Mexico, Sister Antonia Brenner.
Whether the crowd includes celebrities, politicians, or prisoners, Mother Antonia can more than hold her own.
I would like to take this opportunity to accept this in the name of Jesus the prisoner. I want to share this honor with the people that share their lives with me in Mexico's La Mesa Penitentiary.
Where she lived, the people she was exposed to, she's not intimidated by wealth or power. She's very well read and is very perceptive politically, and is a master of tact.
Warden Jose Francisco Jimenez Gomez says that the results speak for themselves. Mother Antonia's spiritual influence has a dramatic effect on the prisoner's behavior. She is part of the history of La Mesa Penitentiary.
You know when they say from Beverly Hills to Tijuana, that's a short trip and a long trip. They're talking about a drive of 50 years. Was Beverly Hills the beautiful life? Of course it is. And is the Tijuana prison a beautiful life? Of course it is. Wherever your heart is, that's what's a beautiful life.
No honor has meant more to Mother Antonia than the renaming of a street after her, one that borders prison walls. Tijuana's mayor and numerous officials are on hand to mark the occasion, while guards look down from their post.
I want to say a word to my sons inside. Please, it is my hope that you know I love you, but more than me, I hope that with my name on this street, that perhaps every person who passes along this street will think about the prisoners and perhaps say a prayer, remembering that Christ was also a prisoner. For his mercy, dear Lord, mercy. Thank you, everyone.
It's a great honor that Tijuana has given me, the government, and I include in that honor the guards that I work with, my co-workers, the director, the courts, the police, but most of all my sons inside the prison that I love. And I hope when people go by the street and see it, they'll maybe say a prayer for the men that are inside and the women that are inside the prison, and give them a chance too.
The day is a revelation for one of Mother Antonia's biological sons, the youngest of her 7 children, Tony.
In that split second, everything just hit me at one time, you know, just all the years that she's been here in Mexico and the hard work that she's done. It just, you know, I just flashed and I thought about it, and I'm so proud of it. It really hit me home of what she's done and the meaningful work that she's done here. And we're all so blessed. It was just a really good moment for our family and for Mexico and for my mother especially.
Mother Antonia keeps up a schedule that would tire someone half her age, and she is slowing down a little.
I'm tired. I'm not leaving the prison. I can't leave people when I see them reaching out through bars or reaching out to mesh. And I know just being there makes it better for them. How can I leave them? I know I can't.
People ask, who will be there for the inmates when Mother is gone?
The only way Mother's going to leave the prison, I believe, is when we joke about it, feet first. She has never once, ever, in all the years that I've known her, ever hint or ever expressed any opinion as far as leaving the prison. That is her home.
She is a mother who counts among her family thousands of Mexico's poorest of the poor. Mother Antonia is under no illusions about the hardships that face her imprisoned flock. or the work left to be done.
I know that this is the world that we live in. We know that, and I can make it better.
And one day the story is going to be, there was a woman, she was a nun. She lived in a prison in Tijuana, and she helped everybody. There wasn't anybody that wasn't helped. And her legacy will be that she was this woman of total giving, and everybody benefited who was around her. I think it'll go down in history. There's no question about it.
La Mama will indeed go down in history for serving a life sentence at La Mesa Penitentiary. A life sentence by choice.
La Mama, An American Nun's Life in a Mexican Prison, is available for purchase on DVD for $19.95. To order, go to lamamathemovie.com. Also available in Spanish.